99% of the people out there have no idea what the word Gamergate might mean, just in the same way that if I told you TV Gate or Streaming Gate, you'd say, what kind of gate is that? Well, folks, we are here to break down for you the absolute insanity. The insanity that is breaking with Sweet Baby Inc., the consultation firm that is going down firmly as one of the most psychotic stories we have ever seen in entertainment. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is always a joy to have you here with us, and it is a joy to have Spencer abounding into comics with us as well. He, of course, is the editor-in-chief over there. And Spencer, happy to have you back, sir.
Like always, Pro, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to talk about this because, man, do we have a lot to get into.
Well, we'll see if you agree at the end of this, because this is a level of insanity and nonsense that few have ever even thought about dealing with. For those of you out there who don't know, Sweet Baby Inc. is one of many consultation firms that come in to essentially let's put up both sides. They would say, Spencer, that their job is to help diversify and make stronger the stories of video games. I would say that they are there to propagandize, right? So that is my editorialized, 100%. Subjective opinion. But, you know, when they are the ones scrubbing their websites, and I'm not scrubbing a thing, I get the feeling they don't like what people know about them now, and they're trying to change.
Which is crazy. Shouldn't you be proud of your work? You were all very proud of it, when Suicide Squad came out, and you were bragging about, we're so proud of you have worked on this narrative. We're great. Like, I'm so proud of this game. What happened to that? That was just less than a month ago.
Right. And so this consultation firm, they have become known as sort of, rightly or wrongly, the catalyst for destroying games that otherwise might be good. And someone out there decided to start just figuring out which things they had worked on, and that broke all hell loose when it comes to the internet. And so here we are.
Insanity.
But let's take a look at this first article, folks. This is a 3-article video as we try to cover the level of depravity we're talking about. So as we get into this,
buckle up. We're bringing you up to speed. We're hitting that accelerator, and we are going.
Buckle up like a 2-year-old having a tantrum with no parent, with any skill around. You were about to say, "Oh, sweet baby, what is this monstrosity?" Here's the first article out of Sportskeeda. This by Rajarshi Akaria. GTA6 fans worried about Sweet Baby Inc. involvement. Grand Theft Auto 6 fans are now worried that Sweet Baby Inc., a consultation firm, is involved in writing the game storyline. According to its website, this is a narrative development and consultation studio devoted to diversifying and enriching the video games industry. The company has made the news after a large number of gamers criticized it for creating woke games. Now, Grand Theft Auto 6 fans are worried that Sweet Baby Inc. might be involved with the upcoming title, as there have been several rumors of the game being quote-unquote woke. So here's what gamers have been talking about since the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy exploded on the internet. And this just keeps going and going and going and going with people trying to figure out if they're involved. We will say that apparently Grand Theft Auto 6, which is made by 2K Games, that 2K does list Sweet Baby Inc. as a company they've worked with in the past. Spencer, do you have any idea? I mean, Grand Theft Auto is a series that is there to offend, right? You do things in the game that are highly offensive, profane, sometimes disgusting, sometimes full of vice and sin, etc.
Over the top, of course.
Over the top, yeah, gratuitous, bad behavior.
Perfect word for it. Yeah,
I can't imagine what that looks like if it's woke. Like, are they just going to like run over religious people? I don't know what you do if.
Unfortunately, here's the big unfortunate elephant in the GTA themed elephant in the room is that we've already gotten to see sort of what a woke GTA will look like. If you or the viewers remember, a couple years ago, actually maybe just like 1 or 2, Rockstar released, or 2K, whoever is the current entity in charge of re-releasing the games, they released the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Trilogy editions, right? Which were, they were a disaster in their own right. They weren't optimized. They looked terrible. Everything had Comic Sans font replacing everything. But one of the main things we saw was that a lot of the edgier jokes that were in, Vice City and San Andreas they had been scrubbed. Sort of, you know, the jokes referring to transgender individuals, or maybe something a little spicy related to adult content, right? Like jokes like those have already been excised. And so while you are right, Pro, that we don't know exactly, or if at all, if Sweet Baby is involved with Grand Theft Auto 6, what I caution with Grand Theft Auto 6 is that, sort of relating to what you were saying about how Sweet Baby is but one head of this massive hydra, GTA 6 has already sort of, or let me rephrase that. Rockstar Studios, as we knew them, doesn't exist anymore. All the people who made GTA 5 or GTA 4, remember, guys, it's been like a decade and a half since that game came out.
How many times do we hear this, though, Spencer? Every time there's some big game coming out, you know, somebody comes on this channel and says, by the way, Pro, none of the geniuses who made the last game are there anymore. Oh, yeah. And it's like, where have they all gone? Every studio is bereft of the people who used to
100%. Right. It's a big problem. And where you see them going is to the indie scene. We have a lot of these old developers starting their own new studios, releasing Kickstarter titles, just doing whatever they can to get out of the industry.
See, Spencer, I have a fear that if when so like I understand going back and scrubbing remasters and what that'll do. But if you combine the gratuitous, over-the-top criminality of Grand Theft Auto and, you know, what's in those games, if you combine that with wokeness, I'm afraid that what you come out with is Grand Theft Auto Portland, and very few people want to play that. I'll guarantee you of that one.
Well, I would play Grand Theft Auto Portland for the setting, but I absolutely know what you're saying. Like I'm just being a dork. Like I'm just
Grand Theft Auto Vancouver. How's that? Grand Theft Auto Vancouver.
There we go. Let's go. Well. I'm totally in for it. And that's sort of one of the big things, is that with all the gratuitousness and the, you know, over the top and the violence and how everything is supposed to be so, like, yeah, over the top and tongue in cheek, you don't have that in neoliberal like entertainment nowadays, right? Everything has to have a message behind it, and everything has to come with a, oh, don't worry, no. I showed somebody getting run over, but we don't endorse that. Nope. Here's a disclaimer that's, you know, 7 different, you know, land acknowledgements and race acknowledgements and all of this stuff. So
I never thought about the Grand Theft Auto cities having been previously inhabited by people who belong there more than the NPCs who are there now.
The Sim citizens who were there before the actual characters got there.
Owned this place before you. What are you talking about? So, but yes, one of the problems is that in Grand Theft Auto, those games are all about, and whether this is good or bad, I'm not here to tell you, but they are all about full-on human depravity, and so everybody is depraved and everything is depraved, and there's no optimism in that.
Right.
What happens when you enter that into wokeness is that it will be all of our political opponents are depraved, and
always
we are amoral, but we deserve to be in power for these reasons, etc. So I don't want to play that. You don't want to play that. Nobody wants to play that.
Nobody wants
Maybe
to play
Sweet
that.
Baby wants to play it. Now, for folks out there who are trying to get their heads wrapped around still what the heck Sweet Baby is and why this matters and what Gamergate is, which I think is the stupidest term, and I don't want to use it. I don't want to participate in it because, well, here's the thing, Spencer. If you know, anytime that you use language and the average person on the street would look cross-eyed at you and be like, what the, you know, then I say that's a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Right, and you shouldn't participate in that because that's just manufactured synthetic language used for propaganda purposes.
Right.
But for people to understand, we now have U.S. government-funded nonprofits weighing in on this. Spencer, this is a story out of Bounding Comics. You wrote it.
Yes, it is.
The link is down in the description below, folks. You need to go read this. But I love the way that you started this off. You said, so who had a U.S. government-funded nonprofit enters the fray around Sweet Baby Inc. on their bingo cards? In response to the recent discourse surrounding the work of the aforementioned narrative consultation company, the mental health and video game-centric nonprofit organization, Take This, has called on both players and the industry at large to clearly and unequivocally denounce Gamergate, a term that nobody really could possibly ever define because it's one of those nonsensical ideas that they've invented. It's sort of like happening upon people role-playing fantasy at a high school, and you say, "Oh, what are you all angry about?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the kerfuffins, the kerfuffins." They're, you know, and you're like, I don't even want to know anymore. I'm done. I'm going back inside. You know, that's how I feel about all of this. I feel like
unfortunately,
too many weirdos. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, Pro, I do have to push back where the term Gamergate, yes, it has been, overwrought. It's been overused. It is very hard to define, but unfortunately, it is a very good propaganda. What's the right word here? Propaganda word for the neo left to use, because
it's propaganda tool.
Because over the past few years, the popular mainstream narrative has been the Gamergate that happened back in 2012 over, people giving positive reviews to people they had personal relationships with and not disclosing it. They mocked, or what's the right term? They took that and they sort of went, look how awful all these people are. They're all this was sort of the proto existence of all the tactics we see today, where, oh, look, everything's misogynist. Oh, I'm being attacked all the time. Oh, this and that and this and that. And so gaming press and even some of the mainstream press to this day will go, Gamergate, that was when all those incel-y gamers got really mad at women in video games. And it's like, that's not what it is. But
so how do we translate that then, Spencer, though? But how do we translate that? So if I go and I talk to one of my normie friends, right, who's not attached to any of this, so more than 90% of the people in my life, if I go try to talk to them,
absolutely,
their eyes will glaze over and they'll be like, you need to go touch grass. Your feet need to be on sod. You need to go into the woods. You need to visit a national park. This is no longer English. So how do we explain this? Why does this matter at a societal level? To the point, Spencer, that U.S.-funded nonprofits are trying to weigh in and impact it.
So here's how you can go about explaining what this is at its core without coming off as somebody who's just way too deep into, our own arguments. And that's something, I get guilty of sometimes too. I presume that I'm talking to people who know what I'm saying, and they go, what? I've never heard of, WDW Pro. And I go, don't talk to me anymore and get out of my life. But so essentially, here's how Gamergate boils down without it getting super, emotional or partisan or anything. Essentially, Gamergate was a wide scale consumer pushback against poor ethics in gaming journalism. As I noted before, the big catalyst was Zoe Quinn, who we all know and love. She was getting positive video game reviews on her title Depression Quest from people that she had personal relationships with, both romantic, platonic, intimate, all of that stuff.
So this was a quasi journalism integrity push, right? So I don't know that games journalists really should be called journalists. So that's why I'm putting it.
That's sort of what the entire original Gamergate kicked off was, this is a clique. All these people want to just sort of, promote their own friends, shut everybody else out for all the gatekeeping and everything they accuse us of, like our side of. That's all they're doing all the time, but they're blatantly lying about it. Now, that first campaign kind of did devolve, and I'll admit that, because as with any big movement, anybody can attach themselves to the name and start doing stupid stuff under its banner, right? Especially when there's no formal organizational structure. So you had a lot of the less socially, or what's the right word? Some of the more explosive members of the internet, going on, harassing some people in the name of Gamergate, so on and so forth, to the point where it unfortunately didn't really change anything. And it just made the video game press and the video game industry double down and become, and start circling the wagons around their own clique. What's happening now with this entrance of of Take This and the freaking Department of Homeland Security is we are seeing, again, sort of that narrative of, if you don't like the work we're doing, if you don't like this, then you are an enemy of whatever sort. Because I want to not,
and let's clarify that what we're talking about here was Sweet, because we got to circle back to Sweet Baby Inc.
Yes.
There's an entire ecosystem, apparently, of these consultation firms whose job is to come in and propagandize entertainment such that it represents a very small-minded, niche kind of political viewpoint, and then promote that as the default worldview.
And to that point, real quick, a lot of the arguments that are coming out of Sweet Baby and their defenders are, we're just a consultation company. They don't have to listen to us. They can make if we tell them something, they're in their full rights to reject it and say no. While that is factually true, here's the thing. It's ignoring the fact that these companies, 2K Games, Wizards of the Coast, Warner Brothers, right? Rocksteady, they are actively seeking these people, whether they don't want to reject their ideas. That's not what's happening here. Sweet Baby isn't coming in and going, hey guys, I'm Sweet Baby Inc. I'm an independent thing. I did my own independent review. If you would like to look at it, have at it. And then the devs doing whatever they want. It's literally them going, we have to make sure we don't offend anybody. We need to make sure that nothing, all the sensitivity checks pass. So go get somebody who can make our game fit into that. So
and it's also that it's kind of like it's kind of like hiring an architect or an architect firm to come 100%. In, and they tell you to pitch the roof at 45 degrees, and then when you do so and it doesn't work, then they come back and say, well, we were just the architecting firm.
Right.
Architectural engineers. You can pitch the roof any way you want. It's like, well, now wait a minute. We hired you to do this. So, okay. So we've got the net. So even if folks out there can't follow this level of nutville, and trust me, the propagandizing material that goes into these games through these consultation firms is pure wackadoodle nonsense. So if you think it's hard to follow this conversation, you should see what's going in the games. It'll send shivers down your spine what is being sent to the kids. But so we've got the national government apparently funding a response through nonprofits. Now we've got the head or the co-founder of Sweet Baby, David Bedard, this out of thatparkplace.com, crying victim and claims that the company, Sweet Baby Inc., is just a target of far-right harassment campaigns. Which doesn't seem to be true.
Always. No.
So, Spencer, this is following the typical narrative, right? So is Sweet Baby Inc. just a Sweet Baby victim of really bad meanies on the internet?
No, they're absolutely not. I'm so glad that this is sort of, the last article we're hitting tonight, because this is something I really want to communicate to everybody, is that this is not true. This is a completely false narrative. Okay. At current, for all the harassment that, the national government, Kotaku, Bedard, for all the harassment that they keep saying Sweet Baby Inc. is receiving, all it amounts to is, one, the creation of the Steam curator list that is meant to track the games they worked on.
You mean somebody put out a portfolio? You mean somebody committed the ultimate sin of what a typical Wikipedia page would do, which is show what you've been involved in, like credits?
They did even, it was an even further transgression, Pro, because they went and they used Sweet Baby Inc.'s own website and own listed credits to make that list.
That's private, right? That website was totally private.
That's what I'm saying. How dare they use publicly available information?
It could only be viewed by every person on the planet. That was private.
Clearly a mob organization.
What devious geniuses to think to go to their own website to find information.
So it amounts to that publicly curated list, a Discord server started by the administrator of that list, which is meant to sort of give a space for people to criticize Sweet Baby Inc. and also help him in running the list. Somebody can say, hey, you forgot this game, or, oh, hey, they said this, and he'll go and add it or remove it, whatever. But it's also just a widespread dislike and criticism from among players. There has been no large-scale coordinated harassment effort directed at anybody except at the behest of Sweet Baby Inc. If you guys will remember, one of the writers of Sweet Baby Inc., Chris Kindred, in response to the Steam curator list existing, again, just existing, not sending it, there's nothing that says, oh, they worked on this game, go attack them. They worked on this game, they're bad people. It just says, did they work on this game? Yes or no. So in response to that list existence, Chris Kindred went and demanded, or not demanded, but called upon his followers and the public to false report both the Steam curator list and the administrator's personal Steam account, which would have, taken away access to all of his games, all of his records, right, exactly.
Right. Give him the Gina Carano treatment. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So that's what makes this so insanely egregious, is that whether it's Bedard or the Department of Homeland Security, all these entities
I can't handle this.
I
can't handle the conversation where we say the Department of Homeland Security.
I've been doing it all day, and I've just been like, I can't believe I've had to say it so much today.
Okay, Spencer. Let me break it down as simply as I can, and you tell me if I get it right, okay? Because
of course,
this is like trigonometry of neuroticism and every bad thing in nerd culture, but all
100%.
Okay, so consultation firm is brought into companies to insert propaganda and to scrub anything that could possibly be outside of a very narrow political framework, so that they can make sure that all games align with whatever elite political preference is wanted.
Yes,
then gamers or the market reject those games. Someone figures out that there's a consultation firm behind the games. They list out the games. Said consultation firm attempts to destroy that person. The U.S. government somehow weighs in, either directly or indirectly through a funded nonprofit. And here you and I sit now talking about all of this. Is that where we are?
I think you've got it completely perfectly.
Oh wait,
out.
No, and they're the pretend victims. The consultation firm is.
Of course, yes.
Got it, okay.
I figured that was sort of implied, as with all of our subjects, they're always victim. Eager to be victims.
Well, you know, Spencer. There's no war in Europe, and there's no war in the Middle East. So
zero, absolutely, no.
Totally. There's no issues with hunger or privation in any parts of the world. So thank goodness that we live in a world where this is at the top of the charts.
I can't wait until that extra $1 billion in funding gets found to fund more Sweet Baby Inc. defenses.
Yeah. Dear U.S. government, dear Sweet Baby Inc., dear everybody involved in these propagandizing consultation firms, go outside. Go stand on the
Touch
grass.
some grass.
Go see the sunshine. You need it.
Talk to another human being who isn't so Kool-Aid drunk as you are.
and please, I beg of you, go to Oklahoma and explain what it is you do in life, and just see the look on people's faces. And then you will know, that will be your barometer as to whether or not you are succeeding in life, because they're going to just stare at you like someone who came from Mars, because that's what this feels like.
Yeah, that's if you're not directly in like California or New York City proper, nobody is going to care that you're a consultation editor, narrative editor, whatever.
And here's the thing, Spencer.
And I say that as an editor of a website. People don't care when I go and tell them what I do.
Spencer, if they were a consultation firm and they made games better, and thereby people bought more games, this wouldn't be happening. The only way it happens is if you destroy games, and therefore your opponents have all the leverage. Jeez Louise, it makes too much sense.
When it's right out there, when it's right obvious, they're just not sending their best.
Spencer, thank you for sending your best. I'd like to send some of our best to your website. Tell the folks out there what it is that you do instead of a consultation firm.
Well, if you need more inclusion and diversity, no, I'm completely kidding. Obviously, guys, you know me. You can catch me on boundingintocomics.com. Come over here. We got news articles going up every day covering all the biggest, hottest news and disasters coming out of Hollywood, video games, comic books, all that fun stuff. So you know where to find us. Come on down.
There you go, folks. Like Price is Right, like Rod Rodney telling you it's time to come on down.
Yep, exactly.
All right, folks. Now it's your turn too here on this game show we call the Pro Channel. Drop a like down below, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell. And we covet your comments. We care about what you think. So share in a community-wide dialogue all about Sweet Baby Inc. And oh, Sweet Baby, don't forget to share this out on your social media platforms. If you do so and it gets to your dear sweet grandma or grandpa, you might need a book-long disclaimer of what it is this is all about. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing.
If there's an interest, Pro, let's say this. If there's an interest, maybe Pro and I will work together on like a 3-minute explainer of what everything is going on so that you can just throw that to people.
3-minute explainer, Spencer, there's money to be had. Make the glossary, man.
Ah, you're right. I got to get to at least 8 minutes so we can get that ad revenue.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having. What? What?
I put out a tweet of a fat minority with a booger in her nose, and I said, "This is an empowered woman." And Kotaku retweeted it.
You don't have your own X account, do you?
Oh, well, I actually created it a while ago. The greatest troll I've pulled off in a long time. Do you know how many things I've secretly tanked?
Oh gosh, I hope not. That would make me legally culpable. But, what are you talking about?
Sweet Baby Inc.
Huh?
Yep. I'm the...
Shut up.
I'm the CEO. Yeah, no, seriously, look, this is my profile picture. Everyone's just AI. It's great. I'm so excited to gaslight everyone and see what they're gonna like next because they think it's socially obligated.
Wait, so you're... No way, you're
Yep.
the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc.?
Maybe. But first, you should see the jewelry company I created.
We're gonna get sued. Oh.
It's yeah, it's gonna be good.